Early one bright morning, Oliver the gnome stepped out of his cozy mushroom-shaped home, eager for a new adventure. The forest stretched before him, its path winding through towering trees whose leaves shimmered with morning dew. The air was fresh, carrying the faint aroma of blooming wildflowers. Oliver had heard tales of a group of magical animals traveling together, calling themselves the Bremen town musicians. They were said to be seeking a better life, using their unique talents to charm everyone they met. Curious and excited, Oliver decided to follow the trail he'd heard they were taking. The forest seemed alive with activity. Rabbits darted between bushes, squirrels scurried across branches, and birds soared through the sunlit gaps in the trees. Oliver moved steadily, his small boots crunching softly against the gravel path as he ventured deeper into the enchanting woods. As Oliver continued his journey, he arrived at a wide clearing where a gray donkey stood. The donkey's long ears twitched as he stomped the ground rhythmically, seemingly practicing his steps. Nearby, a broken wooden cart leaned against a tree, its cracked wheel half buried in the dirt. The donkey's hooves made a soft drumming sound, as though it was creating a rhythm of its own. Oliver noticed how determined the donkey appeared, its eyes focused and filled with energy. Around the clearing, tall grasses swayed in harmony with the music of the wind, creating a serene yet lively atmosphere. The donkey's musical drumming was mesmerizing, and Oliver knew this creature was special. Further down the path, Oliver entered a denser part of the forest where the trees grew closer together. He soon came upon a large dog resting near a fallen log. The dog had a scruffy coat and a well-worn collar, but its most striking feature was a wooden drum strapped around its neck. The dog was lightly tapping the drum with its paws, creating a soft beat that blended with the rustling leaves. The area was shaded, with patches of sunlight filtering through the thick branches above. Ferns and mushrooms dotted the forest floor, and the sound of distant bird song added to the symphony. The dog's rhythm was steady, almost as if it were communicating through its music. Oliver paused to admire the dog's skill and the natural harmony of the surroundings. The path led Oliver to a small brook, where a sleek black cat sat perched on a rock. The cat was plucking at the strings of a tiny harp with its delicate claws. The music was soft and enchanting, blending with the babbling of the brook. The cat's green eyes sparkled in the sunlight as it skillfully played the harp, filling the area with a magical melody. The brook reflected the vibrant greenery around it, and fish swam lazily in its crystal-clear waters. The scene was so peaceful that it felt like a dream, and Oliver couldn't help but feel drawn to the cat's talent. As the sun began to set, Oliver came upon an abandoned watchtower standing tall in a clearing. Perched on top was a bright red rooster with golden feathers that shimmered in the evening light. The rooster held a flute in its beak, playing a cheerful tune that echoed across the clearing. The tower was covered in creeping ivy, and wildflowers grew in abundance around its base. The rooster's music seemed to energize the area, as fireflies began to dance in the twilight. The sound of the flute carried far and wide, filling the forest with an aura of celebration and hope. The forest came alive as the donkey, dog, cat, and rooster gathered in the clearing. Each had heard of the Bremen town musicians and dreamed of a better life. Their talents were unique, and together they made a vibrant group. Oliver watched as the donkey drummed the ground, the dog beat its wooden drum, the cat played its harp, and the rooster flute filled the air with melody. The harmony was extraordinary. The animals moved in rhythm, their music blending seamlessly with the forest sounds. Oliver stepped forward, eager to guide them on their journey to Bremen town, where their talents would surely be celebrated. As the group set out, they entered a darker part of the forest where the trees loomed tall and twisted. The light barely reached the ground, and the air was damp and cool. Strange noises echoed around them, from the distant howl of wolves to the rustling of unseen creatures in the bushes. Despite the eerie atmosphere, the group pressed on. Oliver carried a lantern, its warm glow cutting through the shadows. The musicians kept their spirits high by playing soft tunes, their music pushing away the growing unease. The group arrived at a wide river, its waters rushing with tremendous force. The current was too strong to wade through, and there was no bridge in sight. Large rocks jutted out of the water, creating treacherous obstacles. The musicians looked uncertain, but Oliver quickly devised a plan. Using the donkey's strength, they carried the cat and rooster across first. The dog helped steady a makeshift raft Oliver crafted from fallen logs. Though it was a challenge, teamwork and determination allowed them to cross safely, with their instruments dry and spirits intact. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the group stumbled upon an old, abandoned cabin deep in the woods. To their surprise, it wasn't empty. A band of thieves was inside, feasting and laughing loudly. The musicians hid behind bushes, observing the ruffians. The thieves had stolen sacks of golden food, which they planned to take to Bremen town. Oliver quickly formed a plan. The musicians would use their talents to scare the thieves away, reclaiming the stolen goods for the people of Bremen town. The musicians took their positions around the cabin. The donkey began stomping the ground fiercely. The dog beat its drum loudly. The cat played a haunting tune on its harp, and the rooster's flute echoed like a ghostly wail. The sound was terrifying, filling the thieves with panic. They ran from the cabin, dropping everything in their haste to escape. The group cheered as they claimed the cabin, now free of the ruffians. They safely stored the stolen goods, planning to return them to their rightful owners in Bremen town. Inside the cabin, the group celebrated their victory. They played joyful music, and Oliver lit a fire to warm the room. The cabin was rustic, with wooden beams and simple furniture. It now felt like a cozy haven after their harrowing journey. They shared stories of their dreams for Bremen town and how they hoped to be appreciated for their talents. The group felt a sense of unity and purpose stronger than ever. The group left the forest and reached a rocky mountain pass. The wind howled fiercely, whipping through the jagged peaks. The narrow path clung to the mountainside, with steep drops on one side. The musicians were determined to press on despite the challenging terrain. The donkey carried the cat and the rooster to keep them safe. The dog used its strength to help push fallen rocks aside, clearing the way for Oliver, who led the group cautiously. The wind threatened to push them back, but the group's perseverance carried them forward. In a tranquil meadow, the group found a young deer trapped in a tangle of vines. The deer's eyes were wide with fear, and its legs trembled as it tried to free itself. The musicians immediately set to work. Oliver used his small knife to cut the vines, while the animals played soothing music to calm the frightened deer. With teamwork and care, they freed the deer, who bounded off happily into the woods. The meadow seemed to brighten as if the land itself was thanking them. Night fell as the group entered a dark woodland. Suddenly, glowing eyes appeared among the trees. A pack of wolves emerged, their teeth bared and growls echoing in the stillness. The musicians quickly huddled together. The donkey stomped, the dog barked fiercely, and the rooster let out a piercing cry, all while the cat played a sharp, eerie harp tune. The combined noise startled the wolves, who hesitated before retreating back into the shadows. The group breathed a sigh of relief and hurried onward. After their ordeal, the group came upon a magical meadow that glowed faintly in the moonlight. The grass shimmered like silver, and soft blue flowers emitted a gentle light. Fireflies danced lazily around them, adding to the ethereal beauty of the place. The group set down their instruments and rested. Oliver lay back, watching the stars, while the animals nestled into the soft grass. The meadow's calming energy restored their spirits, readying them for the final leg of their journey. The group encountered a wide, tranquil lake blocking their path. Its surface reflected the rising sun like a giant mirror. With no bridge or boat in sight, Oliver decided to build a raft. Using logs from fallen trees and vines for rope, the group worked together. The donkey dragged logs, the dog tied knots, and Oliver directed the construction. Once the raft was complete, they set sail across the shimmering lake, their spirits lifted by the beauty of the morning. At last, the group saw the spires of Bremen town in the distance. The sun rose behind the city, casting a golden glow over its bustling streets and cheerful homes. The group quickened their pace, eager to reach their destination. The town came alive with early morning activity as merchants set up stalls and townsfolk greeted the day. Oliver and the musicians entered the gates, their instruments in hand, ready to share their music with the world. In the town square, Oliver and the musicians performed a lively concert. The donkey stomped to a steady beat, the dog drummed enthusiastically, the cat strummed its harp beautifully, and the rooster played its flute with flair. The townsfolk clapped, danced, and cheered, enchanted by the music. Children laughed and ran around, and even the mayor came to watch. The musicians had finally found a place where they were appreciated and celebrated. Oliver and the musicians brought the stolen gold and food to the mayor, who was overwhelmed with gratitude. The mayor praised their bravery and promised to reward them. The townsfolk gathered to thank the group for their heroic efforts. The musicians felt proud, knowing they had made a difference. Their journey had not only brought them recognition but also helped the people of Bremen town. The group became the official Bremen town musicians. They performed regularly, bringing joy to the town and beyond. Oliver stayed with them as their manager and friend, ensuring their adventures would never end. The group's story spread far and wide, inspiring others to follow their dreams. Together, they proved that teamwork and courage could overcome any challenge.